Hi, welcome to the Market Alert for Wednesday, the 22nd of June 2020. So yesterday, the summary for the activity of the markets was big tech, Bitcoin and bond yields surge higher as macro malaise continues. And stocks bounce and curve steepens into J. Powell Senate siren meeting today and tomorrow. And US stocks reopened from the holiday to a broad risk on mood. However, things have changed overnight, which we'll see in just a moment. News today, this is the main one of the week, isn't it? We've spoken about this. The UK inflation numbers, they will be out before you actually get the market alert, unfortunately. Despite the fact that I'm here at 6 a.m, it takes a moment or two to actually edit, render, and obviously publish. So, we'll see what the reaction is to these numbers at 7 a.m. And then the gold-silver ratio moving sharply to the upside. And again, you'll see why when we look at the metals markets as well. A lot of activity overnight during last night for some unknown reason. I can't seem to find any news of why. But let's get into it. And starting off with the Dow, we had the dead cat bounce yesterday, which we can see there. Prices moving to the upside, closing above the 5-bar moving average. We actually drew in these lines yesterday and I forgot to save them, so let me just redo this for you. We saw the market trading back up yesterday to 78%, between 68 and 72, and this has now been left behind as the market is reversing overnight, down sharply. And just draw these in on the downside, see what we've got from here to here. At the moment, the market trading at 38%. It's got to hold above that 5-bar moving average in the daily, which also ties in with the 50 Fibonacci retracement there as well. So you could expect some support. Also, of course, more importantly, if we look at the 30 minutes and just compress the chart there, the low for yesterday is going to be really important as well. Before getting to the low in the Dow, though, you've also got the 200 MA and the S1 in the way there, and the close as well for Monday. So these three areas here are key, so keep an eye on these this morning. If the futures market abreacts to the UK inflation numbers, if they're greater than forecast, which is 9.1, anything greater, so it was 9, wasn't it? Let me just remind myself on that one. 9.1 is the forecast, yeah, I thought it was. So anything higher than that will be interesting for the markets, but it's also interesting why the markets have fallen overnight as well. We can see the open here and down to the low. We're down just under 300 points on the Dow. So we got a dead cat bounce in progress here, or the end of one, which was a one-day bounce, and now moving back to the downside, which we're seeing in the daily chart there. But keep an eye on these numbers, like I say, and the 5-bar moving average, the 50, the S1, and the low in the 30-minute chart. In the German DAX, we've got a similar picture as well. Yesterday, the market trading up to that 62.78 as well, just in between, and with a bit of demand there, but that's not quite correct because the US markets were closed on Monday. It was very quiet, so this demand can actually be ignored. With it wouldn't be difficult to actually have anything greater than Monday with the US being closed, like I say. So moving back to the downside as well, just draw this in as well, go back to the low and to here, and let's just expand this out so you can see it. And there you go. At the moment we're at 62% retracement for the DAX, also sitting at the 5-bar moving average as well. We've already taken out yesterday's low, so a lot weaker than the Dow. Let's just have a look at the 30-minute chart. And you'll see there we've got the low there, and we've taken out the 200 MA on the overnight as well. Well, actually, we did it before the close last night, and we've gapped slightly lower. And let's just expand that out, and you can see the markets move lower there as well. From the open of the overnight, the DAX down to the low has moved 134 points, which is quite a big move for the DAX on the overnight, but finding a bit of support there at the moment, oversold, and is going to attempt as much as possible to get back to yesterday's low, but it'll have the 20 bar moving average in the way. Got the inflation out at 7 a.m. So yesterday's activity in the 30-minute chart saw the market moving up from sitting sideways on the previous day's high. Like I say, the high and low of the previous day are always crucial. The 20 bar moving average also here. We're not oversold on the downside because we're just opening from the overnight and catching up with the same direction there. You can see that, so having a bit of a breather and then continuing to the upside. So the market had already been long on the overnight, sitting at the high, which is always a nice place to find support. The market moved higher, became overbought. We've got more than a double top here. It's just sneaking through the high of this bar here, but then we switch and the market makes its way down, finds support at the 50 EMA and the high. You can see how we're sitting on it. Even when it bounced through, it managed to get back, but eventually it succumbed to the weakness and has continued overnight there. In the 5-minute chart, just have a quick look at the action. The 7 a.m. kickoff saw the futures market rally. This soon failed, heading back down into oversold territory, and then the market moving back to the upside after the parabolic also turned green, and there's that double top that we saw in the 30-minute, just slightly higher at the R2, and again just overbought there. In fact, there's divergence there as well because the momentum had dropped off as the market had made its way back, and then it was downhill all the way with the Dow for mid-morning, the futures down, and this is when the Dow opened here. We got a bit of a bounce and then it got stuck in a sideways range for the duration at the 200 MA. All of the heavy lifting had been done in the pre-market mid-morning with the Dow futures playing catch-up. Overnight the market's gapped. This gap hasn't been filled. We've got a bit of a bounce going on at the moment to the S1, but we're below the low and the 200 MA there. In the S&P, very similar to the Dow, still above the 5 bar moving average at the moment. We saw the market bounce yesterday to 62% retracement, and now down on the overnight. Again, these are the downside targets for the S&P, and as the Dow sticking at 38 at the moment. We've got the 5 bar moving average where it needs to hold as well. If it closes below these, then we'll attack the 62, 78 and 89. 30-minute charts for yesterday see the futures market moving up, holding at the previous day's high just as the DAX did and the Dow, and then coming back and retesting. You see there we go to overbought, then to oversold, and then moving to the upside. And then again you've got double top there with the momentum dropping off and the market down on the overnight. In the FTSE daily, also trading up to the 62% retracement with supply there coming into the market, and also trading down to the 5 bar moving average on the overnight, which is also going to tie in with a 50% retracement on this one as well. So we've got to hold at this level. We're already through yesterday's low. These are the downside targets should the UK inflation numbers be greater than forecast. In the 30-minute chart, as we see yesterday, just like the German DAX, moving to the upside. A bit of a battle there at the 200 MA and previous day's high. See the buying coming in, and then they drive the market higher, so huge amount of absorption there, and then move the prices up, becomes overbought, crossover in stochastics, change in parabolic, and then the market trades sideways again at the previous day's high, which you can see there, Monday's high. Monday's high, and then stuck in a sideways range, market gapping lower overnight, and has traded down a good 70 points there by the looks of things. Let's just have a quick look down to the low. Look at that, bang on 70 points. The FTSE down as well, like I say, waiting for those CPI numbers at 7 a.m. And onto the currencies, yen having moved up considerably over the last few days, down overnight as well. You can see that yesterday we had a nice move to the upside. We had 100, 200, nearly 250 points on the yen to 9 p.m. last night. But overnight, the market having made its way back, taking out the close and also the DP at the moment, also below the 50 EMA, which has become a resistance, and a sideways range between the BRN at this level, which is 16649, where the market's currently finding a bit of support. The pound waiting for the inflation numbers, which is why you've seen the last 2 days fairly quiet, closing below or trading below the 5-bar moving average at the moment. If the inflation numbers come out a lot higher than 9.1, that will be a sell-off initially for the pound, and then of course you'll see that switch as we did last week, where the market saw the rate increase from the Bank of England, moving the pound to the upside. But that isn't going to happen this week unless they have an emergency meeting to do that sort of thing. We'll see when the numbers are released at 7 a.m. But you can expect this to move down initially and then bring it back as we saw before. 30 minutes, very choppy yesterday, and it's had more of a move to the downside than it did during the whole of yesterday's sideways move there. Taken out the low. Again, numbers are going to be crucial for the direction of this market today. And finally, in the metals, silver managing to move up to the 22 area yesterday, just below it. Then it got slammed, and now it's being slammed on the overnight as well. My $20 target has not changed, and I expect to still see this being hit, and then probably some sort of bottom put in place there as the Fed eventually go from tightening to loosening, because they won't want a recession, especially going into the midterm. So expect downside pressure on the metals going forward. There you can see this overnight as well, an interesting bar. Actually, it's just come to me what it is. It must be what Powell said overnight. He spoke yesterday, didn't he? I don't know. The days all merge into one, don't they? Powell's speaking today. What did he do? Did he speak yesterday? Oh no, so tonight is his first. Yeah, so scratch that. I don't know what this is. Somebody came in and sold a lot of paper overnight, and it's still sent the silver market below yesterday's low and continuing lower as well. So expect this to be absolutely crushed today. One of these sort of big bar days that we see. It's already started, and when it starts on the overnight, generally the market continues to move in this direction. Silver is 42% cheaper than its all-time high. Gold has more than doubled since its all-time high in 1980. So if this isn't manipulation, I don't know what is. But they're going to continue to do this until they either send it to zero or it's worthless. I mean, it's just bizarre. Absolutely bizarre with what's going on here. The irony is, of course, you can't buy physical silver for less than £38 an ounce in the UK. So again, it just goes to prove that they're just crushing the price for whatever reason they're doing it. Who knows? Just very, very strange. The only commodity, like I say, 42% cheaper than its 1980 high. We've got inflation and hyperinflation around the globe, and silver can't even move higher. It's just bizarre. Absolutely bizarre. Gold also being moved lower on the overnight as well. Failed to close above or trade above the 200 MA yesterday. This also heading back down to the lows. It's going to have its day though. I mean, once they start printing money again as opposed to tightening, which they will, they'll have no choice, then you will see the metals market explode, because then that's going to start another inflationary cycle. They'll wait till the inflation starts to decrease, this first phase of inflation, then they'll go to reducing rates, and then the whole thing will start again. And there you see the gold market moving lower once more. Let's just have a quick look at the dollar, and then I'll wait for the inflation numbers. And it's here somewhere. There we go. So yeah, the dollar up overnight as well, which is adding to the downside pressure on the metals. Okay, that's it for this one. As ever, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.